Hi, this is Ramos Reviews, the channel where I quickly express my thoughts and opinions about all types of movies. Today I'll be looking at 2022's Scream Legacy, directed by Salazar. I've said it plenty of times, I love the entirety of the Scream franchise. I think every single film is great, and I thought that the first two seasons of the MTV show were good as well. So I was very interested when I was told about a new Scream fan film that came out about a week ago. I'm gonna say I still had and will forever have high hopes when watching a fan-made or short film. Not because it's a film based on a franchise that I love, but because one, director Salazar was one of the writers for the Halloween fan film that many fans apparently enjoyed. And second, I'm a huge believer that fan films can be better than official big budget movies in terms of writing, acting, directing, sound design, etc. It's been proven to be possible many times, like with Vincent DeSantis' Never Hike Alone, that did better than the majority of the Friday the 13th films, or even Marcel Becker New's ridiculous sounding Among Us fan film, that handled the whodunit aspect better than most. So yeah, I don't care if a fan film looks low budget, all I care about is if they did their best with the concept and resources given to them. That's why I'm also going to say that please, if you care about this film and my opinion on it, please watch it. You should always try to help lesson on the filmmakers one way or another. So if you want to watch this film before watching this video, which you should, the link to the film will be at the top of the description. It's just about an hour, so if you want to chill and watch something, whether I love it or hate it, I'm telling you to please go watch Scream Legacy before this review, and show your appreciation and respect to the director and his crew by watching any film and developing your own opinion on it first. So once again, I don't have a clear rating system, but I do mainly base my ratings on things like how well it's made, like special effects, directing, acting, how good it's written, like story, characters, and creativity, and how entertaining or enjoyable I found the movie to be overall. Now if you agree with me, that's great, and if you don't, that's fine. Everyone's open to an opinion, and this is just mine. Now, let's get to the breakdown. 22 years after Roman Bridges' Ghostface killings, a woman with a secretive past returns to Winsboro only to find herself being tormented by another new Ghostface killer. First things first, I'm gonna be honest, I did not like Scream Legacy, which is very unfortunate because I truly wish that I could have enjoyed a short film based on my favorite horror franchise. Though I will say that it wasn't horrible, and as a slasher film it's alright, but the fact that Scream Legacy is supposed to be a Scream movie is my biggest problem with it. The film is missing so many of the important elements that I would consider to be necessities for a good Scream movie or TV show. There are no moments of self-awareness, no characters making horror references, no jump scares that feel grounded in realism. Ghostface isn't in the slightest intimidating, and personally, most importantly, there's no badass and capable protagonist. It was the biggest annoyance that I had with this film, because it's bad enough to have a protagonist that does nothing, but to also make her the daughter of Sidney Prescott, the most badass final girl in horror history. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? This legit irritated me so much because, as we all know, Sidney is a badass, clever, capable, and mentally strong person throughout all of the 5 films. So to have to follow Katie Palmer, who has none of those characteristics, it was pretty tough. I just hated Katie as a final girl so much because even if she wasn't like Sidney, she still wasn't Scream final girl material. She wasn't similar to Sam or Emma or Audrey or even Liv and Kim. All Katie did when she dealt with Ghostface was hide, cry, and stand still. Do you know who else did that? Like, even before the events of Scream 4 or 5, I feel like Sidney as a mom would have been like a nicer and open version of survivalist Laurie Strode. But instead, she's the kind of mom who chooses to hide from the world because she doesn't trust anyone, which would be understandable for most final girls, but not for Sidney Prescott. Her being in hiding and worrying just totally ruined Sidney's arc from the end of the trilogy. She finally felt free and safe from her past horrors and was able to continue on with her life. I guess the writers and directors didn't remember that part of Scream 3. I don't know though, apparently a lot of people enjoyed this film overall. I just honestly can't ignore the fact that the daughter of the best final girl became arguably one of the worst final girls ever, while also dealing with the least intimidating Ghostface. Here, Michael Tula plays Daniel Loomis, and without a doubt, I think he's the worst Ghostface in Scream media. However, he isn't all that bad. Their attempt to mimic Roger L. Jackson's iconic Ghostface voice was respectable.
You really shouldn't have hung up on me.
And having Daniel wanting revenge could have felt redundant, but actually worked really well to continue the Loomis family tradition. Plus, he definitely felt like a Loomis boy. He's charming, has a vengeful motive, and has a very bipolar temper. I also appreciated the subtle addition they learned from his brother's past mistakes, like running to the fridge. He definitely watched that. So, other than the fact that he was probably the most obvious killer reveal in any Scream film, this Ghostface also got his ass handed to him way too many times. And yeah, so do all the other Ghostfaces, but in this film, it happens way too much. And when he does get his ass whooped, the only reason that he manages to beat the victim was either due to some crazy good luck or the pure stupidity of the victims. Daniel as Ghostface was just so unintimidating, even more so as he said his Ghostface monologue. During the final act, Michael Lula sometimes had some unusual facial acting, an over-the-top performance, and a very unsatisfying Ghostface versus final girl sequence. I mean, all around, he was a pretty dull antagonist. And there are still more issues to talk about regarding the characters and script, because even though everyone brought a decent performance and did their best to give it their all for the most part, I personally feel like they kind of put aside or killed off the most interesting characters way too quickly. Like, I feel like more of Ellen Elise Evans and Zoe Kessler would have been cool to have, so that she could have at least attempted to bring some of that presence of a modern iteration of Gale Weathers. She even reminded me of a fame-seeking version of Noah Foster from the first 2 seasons of MTV Scream, who anyone who has seen it knows is the absolute best character in the show. I just believe that if he had fewer characters or more scenes with with them, it would have helped us a lot better connect with them and make us genuinely care for their well-being, rather than making them feel like they were just people cast in the movie to be killed. Then again, that's the problem with low budget and short films. Sometimes that's all they can do with the limited resources given. So even though I didn't enjoy the lack of character development, I still can't really hate or blame the film for being too short. They did their best, and that to me still does matter a lot. I can't say though that Scream Legacy is a pretty well directed and edited film because they do a pretty good job building suspense and bringing in that Wes Craven-like feel. The shots feel cinematic, genuinely creepy, and sometimes purposefully humorous in a way that also feels like a joke straight from a Scream movie. Especially when it comes to Ghostface's signature torment lines. Some of the things that Ghostface says in this film are pretty fucked, but also funny in like a dark, pesky manner, which I will say does also match how Ghostface is in the Scream franchise, which is a huge plus because it's very easy for a fan film to look low budget, but this movie doesn't look or feel like that at all. However, this is most definitely a fan film in the fact that Scream Legacy feels less of a short film and more of a better produced spin-off requel fan film. They do a good job with making this movie feel part of the Scream franchise through many Easter eggs and references, the acknowledgement of Roman Bridger being the latest Ghostface killer, mentions of Mark Kincaid, some fire songs returning directly from the previous movies,
This could be your lucky day in hell.
and even another blatant Wes Craven tribute.
Is God.
By the way, all these things don't feel overwhelming or tedious either. They feel just right in the scenes that they're in and work very well to continue the original story given to tell a new one. I just wish that this movie had some more moments of self-awareness and a better opportunity to focus more on the writing and character side of things before moving on to things like the entertainment, directing, and acting, which I thought they successfully did in that aspect. So let's see what will be the official rating I'm going to give this movie with every one of my bases in mind. There were decent performances, good gore, some nice callbacks and tributes, and overall well done directing. However, there are some dull characters, a weird, obvious, unintimidating Ghostface, a disrespectfully whack final girl, and an importantly huge lack of self-awareness, which for a horror film isn't needed at all. But as a fan film influenced by and taking place in the Scream franchise is a personally ginormous letdown. Overall, Scream Legacy is a fan film that decently tries to continue the Scream storyline from Scream 3, but just lacks too many Scream necessary elements for me to truly enjoy it. So with that being said, I'm gonna give it an okay 6 out of 10, with the recommendation to watch if you enjoyed movies like Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, or Scream 2022. Thank you for watching this Ramos review on Zach Salazar's Scream Legacy. If you want me to review a movie, old or new, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you want to see my ratings on many films, then go ahead and check out my Letterbox account in the description down below. I'll be rating and possibly even shortly reviewing every single film I watch. So if you enjoyed this review, please leave a like and subscribe. It would help a lot and I would totally appreciate it. Anyways, I'll talk to you in my next review.